They call me the God, but listen, I put my pants, I put these hoochie daddy pants on one leg at a time. Yeah. Third leg in your mom. Cause when the quads is out, you either skate or get in line.
It's worse than I remember.
I put that shit on Facebook. I was like, who said this? And nigga said, nigga, that's you. I said, how you know? He said, nigga, only you say shit like that. I was like, oh, you right. Oh, it's recorded?
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you tell me? Nigga, I had to fix myself up. I'm back once again. I'm sorry for the wait. No Lil Wayne, that nigga sucks. We'll get to that in a moment. I was right, you were wrong. He never should have belonged on a stage or a Super Bowl. But I didn't come here to talk about him. But in a roundabout way, I did. We have a problem in this world that's going on. I don't know if there's a word for it, so I'm going to call it the De-Goatification of the best niggas on earth, buddy.
There was similitude?
Nah, cause okay. The best way I'll explain it is like this, right? You have someone come along who's emulating Michael Jackson, and he does a few flips, and he was born light skinned, and then everybody thinks he's better than Michael Jackson or somewhere on the same level, right? Because you wasn't around when Michael Jackson was melting bitches from the stage off a shimmy and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to say. There's no comparison. You can't compare Chris Brown to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is on a level unforeseen. What's the word I'm looking for, nigga? Here too unforeseen, nigga. That's what I'm talking about. Alright?
I'm glad you got. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to.
I never can depend on you for a word, nigga.
What the fuck? For a word?
Yes.
Verisimilitude.
The only word they teach in Jamaica is shit. That and fucking triathlon and shit, nigga. Alright, so as time goes by, we for some reason forget about the greats, or we lessen them because either we didn't get to see them, or is it because black people or American youth in general have a disdain for that that came before it, right? So I say all that. Okay, you want some more examples?
No, go ahead. Just go. I got a point.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
When I was young, I didn't watch much basketball, but if there's one thing I knew, there was nobody as dominant as Shaquille O'Neal. He's so goddamn tall and strong and athletic. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
You turned to Vince McMahon. Go ahead.
That's how they used to say it. Fast forward 20 years, niggas act like Shaquille O'Neal is number 15. I'm like, since when, nigga? He was top 5 just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fucking Magic Johnson. Oh, he was playing against plumbers. Those people had day jobs, nigga. Like, they act like these people's greatness doesn't count because they didn't get to witness it for themselves. And slowly but surely, the dick-ratification of other people. And that's how people go up. So I've always said, is Michael Jordan truly great? Or was he just advertised as great? And at the time, we weren't aware of the advertising tricks. You know what I'm saying? I think now people are like acutely aware of what they do to, make someone greater than that which they are. Yeah. They'll give you little stats that don't make no sense. First nigga to ever walk on the court and dribble the ball 2 times and then shoot immediately in the first 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, stats nobody cares about or doesn't really concrete that greatness. So that's what was happening to us. We were seeing Michael Jordan on McDonald's commercials, Nike commercials. Did McDonald's ever advertise him?
Have a Michael Jordan commercial?
Yeah. Gatorade commercials, Nikes, all this kind of shit. So it kind of drilled into our heads that he's the best. Now, it just so happens that they were right. Because when you go back and analyze the footage, he still was doing things that were so amazing that people are trying to emulate now. But as time goes by, you have a certain disdain for it, so then you try to start moving people into the conversation. I remember a certain time, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, people was trying to say Kobe was better than Mike. And I used to say that's a goddamn lie. How could you be better than Mike when you're doing the exact same shit as him, or you're trying to emulate everything he's doing, down to the sticking his tongue out while he's dunking? Like, that's like a... You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not even something Michael Jordan worked on. You know what I'm saying? You just stealing the niggas' whole stilo and shit. Yeah. So then when that didn't work out, when the numbers didn't bear out for Kobe, then they turned to LeBron. I'm not about to get into the LeBron versus Michael conversation, but I'm just saying at one point in time, you couldn't speak another nigga's name next to Michael Jordan. You couldn't say it in the same breath as him, right?
Yeah.
There was Michael Jordan, there was Julius Erving, there was Magic Johnson, and there was the white boy. What's the white boy's name?
Larry Bird.
Larry motherfucking Bird. All right? These were considered the greats, right?
Larry motherfucking Bird.
And then you had like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know what I'm saying? Hakeem Olajuwon, all these people. And now when I see people making their list, right? Like top 75, they're getting pissed off because they didn't put Paul George in there. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Paul George, but he don't belong on the, like, his name can't stand next to these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley, one of the top 15 greatest players of all time, never won a championship. You can't put even some of these kids that won a championship next to Charles, but you ain't Charles Barkley, as far as I'm concerned. But over time, people forget. And which brings me to why we're here, my nigga. I go to my YouTube app, or I scroll down my Facebook app or Twitter app, and I see such disrespect for the person who is considered one of the greatest rappers of all time, my nigga.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see Vlad TV interviews about it. I'm starting to see fucking security guards whose names don't matter and shit come out and have bullshit to say. I'm starting to see like people in the comments making comments and shit, acting like the Notorious B.I.G. wasn't considered the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah. Oh, when he was out.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about he was considered the GOAT.
Yeah.
It was, when I was a kid, it was always known that it was Tupac and Biggie, right?
Yeah.
And you had to figure out which side you was on. If you went with the nigga whose lyrics weren't as deep, but you felt his passion more, you went with Tupac. But you knew for a fact that Biggie had better lyrics than Tupac. That was just a fact. That was the actual fact. And as time goes on, because Tupac died and Biggie died, people start dick riding their legends, right? So Tupac has a lot of like moments outside of music that make people like resonate with him. So they no longer look at the strength of schedule. They no longer look at the body of work. They no longer look at all that. They start dick riding his like character. You know what I'm saying? Like they like his interviews. They like the fact that he spit at the camera and all that. And Biggie had what, 2-3 albums, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then he died. Pac had like 6 posthumous albums and shit that came out after he died. So his influence on the game went on longer because he influenced people on a personal level more.
Yeah.
So now people are forgetting how good Biggie was or how much sway he had over the game. And now you got like Diddy, who's ruining the fucking legacy of Bad Boy in general, and people just coming out their mouth saying wild shit, my nigga.
Yeah.
Like, so we at the point now where niggas is going on YouTube talking about Biggie always said gay shit, and we think Biggie was gay just like Diddy was gay, and Diddy was probably fucking Biggie because Biggie said the gayest line of all time and shit. The girl looks so good, you know the rest, right? However, I would like
Do you
to.
know the rest?
Oh,
Not off the top of my head.
present company not excluded and
Yeah.
shit. Biggie's line was, he was talking to a girl. The song is called Me and My Bitch. And he says, when I first seen you, I can't lie, my first thought was a trick. You look so good. I suck on your daddy's dick.
Oh, okay.
All right?
That's hella sus.
Objectively one of the gayest lines ever said. All right?
Some of the gayest shit uttered.
However,
Like,
what's lost in history is he was quoting Richard Pryor, who was a comedian, and when he said it, everybody laughed. He said it in the 1970s. This is back when people didn't curse.
Yeah.
So he come on the you know, his act, he walk into the zoo, be like, yeah, I went to Africa, there's lions and shit. They was roaming around free. You go to the zoo, you like, hey zoo, hey lion, motherfucker. And everybody start laughing. That was gold in 1970. So when he said suck on somebody's dick, everybody was on the floor. They never heard this type of shit. So imagine you're a kid, you're Biggie, you quote the line on your record because you thought it was funny, right?
Yeah.
All right. This is before Pause No Homo ruled the world, right? This is before That's What She Said, All right? This is before any of that, right? Just what you was said was taken on face value.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. New York niggas said some of the gayest shit of all time during these times, right? Like, fuck me running. How could you shove so much dick up my ass? These are all, this is all statements that they would say, yeah. Oh, Jadakiss used to say, I was signed to Fuck Me, Rape Me Records and all this other kind of shit.
Right.
Like, DMX. Nobody talks about DMX.
Listen, man, DMX.
DMX is one of the toughest niggas of all time and had a lot of suspect shit. That's because the way people spoke back then was overtly sexual for no reason whatsoever. And we didn't view it through the same eyes that we have now. So the point that I'm getting at is one of the main things. I remember when I was a kid, I listened to Redman and he said, I know a bitch up the block that got more cock than AK. And I was like, what does he mean by that? Like, it turns out back in the day, cock was actually another word for vagina.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious how the shit just changes around. But because it's lost through history and nobody cares about the history due to late stage capitalism, but we'll get to that. Nobody cares about the history. They only care about what's in front of them right now. So when you hear some shit like that, your ear's like, what the fuck? So when I heard that as a kid and Redman said that, one of my favorite rappers, I'm like, what could he possibly mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, I was trying to figure it out rather than just calling him gay because, you know, it is what it is. So I say that to say this. There's too much West Coast dick licking. Too many niggas on a mission doing their best Jay-Z rendition. Jay-Z said this in 1997, 1996. That's because to this day, I believe there's too many people who just, I don't know what it is about the West Coast, but niggas just be dick riding. Like, the bar for bar, per capita on CD, on wax, the people who said the gayest shit of all time is NWA, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, all them niggas. Yeah. Go back and listen to their diss records, nigga. No Vaseline is literally about a dude fucking another man raw with no Vaseline, man, with no lubrication. That's what the song is a metaphor for, right?
That's just dangerous.
Yeah. And the whole time, all he's doing is talking about how this dude could suck this dick and this dude could lick balls and that one. Go through Snoop Dogg's whole catalog. It's nothing but dick jokes and balls and all that kind of shit. And their diss records to each other basically played out like fucking homoeroticism, my nigga. Like, and Lord Jamar gonna sit on YouTube and talk about the 6 Biggie lines that sound gay in hindsight. There's mad gay shit through hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just the fact that you choose to focus in on Biggie is because you're trying to go through the De-Goatification of Biggie. Like, y'all are like basically sacrificing this nigga's place in history and trying to make him a footnote when clearly he was like one of the fucking pillars of this shit.
I don't think it's that, man. I think it's just like you're saying something salacious because you know it's gonna get picked up. That's all it is.
I think they're saying something salacious, but they also just aren't capable of thinking the whole thing through, right? So like you said, you say the salacious thing, you say the crazy thing, and that headline gets people to click. Yeah. But now they clicked. So you don't got nothing else to say? All you can do is like recite the same lines that's been in top 50 gayest lines in hip hop since 2004.
What you asking them to actually put a deep thought together, which is something they're not there to do. They there for a headline.
Which is also due to late stage capitalism. We'll get to it though. But yeah, okay.
Also, another point I was gonna say is that the whole thing about like who the GOAT is, the moment.
Go ahead, say it then. Who the GOAT?
The moment is more important than the numbers. You get what I'm saying?
I agree. I mean, only now we talk about numbers, but like. Back then, we didn't talk about numbers.
I'm saying, like, Michael Jordan is the GOAT because the people who were like, you can't tell somebody who didn't grow up in the era of Michael Jordan that Michael Jordan's the GOAT because the moment, they weren't there for, like, the moment. Like, the person who's there is like, I seen that nigga score 68 points. And you be like, LeBron scored 93, but I seen that nigga Jordan.
But see, that's what I mean, though. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're losing, the oral history. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're losing our legends. Our shit is like You know what I'm saying? Like if I walk down, ask me who Langston Hughes is, my nigga. A poet, maybe? Was he? Was he a poet?
Now I will say that's a black thing.
I think it's an American thing.
No, because I feel like white people, they'll like bands, for example.
Word is born, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like, listen to some Journey. They'll like go back to these people.
No, yeah, that real.
They'll like, something can be old and respected. Like in black culture, like once it ain't hip no more, you're like washed.
Yeah, get this old shit out of here.
Exactly, yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, I think that's a microcosm of America. Usually, and we've talked about this before, usually when you have a subculture, things get magnified through that subculture, through the lens of that subculture. So America's a very violent place. Like, we respect violence. It's a very corrupt place. Our government is corrupt from the tippy top on down. So when you look at hip hop and you view it through that lens, hip hop focuses a lot on violence. It focuses a lot on crimes and corruption and all that kind of shit. There's a lot of sexism in America, and sexism is on the front, on the front stage in hip hop. And it's the same thing with no respect for our elders. You go to China or Japan, they fucking worship every word their elder says. You know what I'm saying? You can't disrespect shit. They run everything because they're older and wiser. It's not like that in America. You can't get a fucking job in America. You could barely say hi at Walmart if you're a little older. You know what I'm saying? Bernie Sanders is one of the greatest leaders we have, and all they could talk about was his age. You know what I'm saying? So, meanwhile, the niggas next to him was like 2 years younger. Like, yeah, but that's how it goes. And you know why? Because he looked older. These other niggas would dye their hair and comb it a certain way and try to look younger, present younger, even though they just as old as this nigga. And Bernie didn't care. He was too real, so they perceived him as older, so they took him less seriously, even though his ideas were way better. But that's what I'm trying to say. That's America. So black people, the youth, do the same shit.
Bernie could have put some effort in. Bernie do be looking like...
That's true.
He rolled out of...
But if you ever listen to Bernie, he don't give a fuck about nothing but the economics. That nigga's about what is the policy, how's it going to help. That's all he cares. He didn't even want to run for office. Yeah. We ain't going to get into that, but he didn't even want to run for office. He only did it because nobody was there saying the shit that needed to be said. So that's why he tried. But that's neither here nor there. So let me get to the second part, and we'll get it. We'll wrap it up quick because I think it speaks for itself, and it's pretty easy to debunk. So about 2008, I seen a video of them like, did Biggie Smalls steal his whole persona and his song and everything about himself from this other nigga that nobody ever heard of? Right? And there was a video about it or an article, which is another thing. Niggas don't read no more. And it was like, these are the facts. No, the nigga didn't steal nothing. Period. I clicked it away. It moved on with my life. 2012, it went viral again. I said, oh, this nigga again. Kindly wrote a comment on sourceofhiphop.com or some shit. Moved the fuck on with my life. I wake up in 2024, and this is the problem with virality and people wanting to like go big. They take a piece of misinformation, right? And then they run with that shit. And then this one copies that one, this one copies that one, this one copies that one. Nobody cares because you're in your little echo chamber, right? And so as long as the person you like to listen to says the thing you want to hear, you don't care that he stole it from 6 other people and shit. People stealing tweets. I know somebody on my Facebook right now that steals shit that I know she didn't come up with. You know what I'm saying? I've been knowing you for 15 years now. You ain't never been that clever. But they go, what do you get out of this? Why are you stealing shit off the line for some likes and shit? But again, late stage capitalism, you stop caring about shit like integrity or like originality and shit like that. Because the means justifies the end. The end is more money. So these people are taking this, I'm not going to call it an obvious lie, but I'm going to say a story with no real proof to it. And it keeps blowing up and going viral on 70 different channels. And now I feel like they're rewriting history and they're making it seem like Big was just unoriginal piece of shit. And because now that Puffy public enemy number one.
Why does this nigga have so many songs that go along with his charges and shit?
It's just nigga
soundtrack to his downfall.
Nigga been confessing for years, but but Yeah, so now that he's public enemy number one, they're trying. If you take a picture with the nigga, they're trying to say, "Oh, you was raping niggas, you was baby oiling niggas up." Yeah. If you took a picture with him, when everybody knows, just 10 years ago, a picture with Puffy was everybody wanted a picture with Puffy. Fucking Conor McGregor wanted a picture with the nigga, didn't even like him and shit. So, okay, whatever. So they're trying to say, and I had to write the shit down because I ain't gonna remember this nigga's name, to be honest with you, because he literally didn't make it. His name was the Notorious B1. And he had a song called, I forget what he called it, but he used the same Juicy sample before Juicy came out. And he was shopping the song for months, and he was sending it out to different record companies.
I think I heard this. This did come across here.
So it's a very similar like beat. It's a very similar flow. It's the same sample, and his name is the Notorious B1. Yeah. If I tell you that, hey, a nigga came out a year prior than Biggie, his name was the Notorious B1. He had the same song, and that Biggie stole it. You're gonna be like, checks out. But that's because there's no one presenting the other side of the argument. When I was taught to write papers when I was a kid, I was taught you have to present, you got papers to persuade or papers to like make an argument to somebody. You have to present the other argument and then argue against it. It's called strong manning. Everybody knows what strong man is, right? Yeah. It's called steel manning or strong manning, the other person's argument. You take the best faith argument that they have and then you break it down. And that's how you know you got a real position, right? So nobody ever presents the other side of shit. They just want you to accept the bullshit that they write. So how about hip hop was born on a sample? The niggas who made Juicy, the original song, Juicy Fruit. That's it. 150 different people have sampled that before Biggie or Notorious B1. In fact, about a year before Notorious B1, there was another rapper who came out with the exact same song, with the exact same beat structure, and not the same flow, but the same shit. And funny enough, he was from the West Coast. What was this nigga's name? Nah, I should have fucking... Calvin Lockhart. That nigga was never gonna make it. That nigga they could have made every hit ever, nigga. Like, yo, you take Summertime, nigga. Huh? Nigga, here's Michael Jackson's Thriller, nigga. He could have made every song first. That nigga was never making it, nigga. Yo.
That's too many goddamn syllables. Goddamn.
Calvin Lockhart, nigga. So he made the song first. How? So you telling me Biggie got it from Notorious B1? Did Notorious B1 get it from Calvin Lockhart? Oh, because Calvin Lockhart ain't around to tell his story and shit, nigga. And okay, last one.
I'm gonna go through this nigga's whole discography.
Yo.
What is this? This man just has like...
Oh, he made everything first, nigga.
Music of all time, nigga.
Hi, my name is Calvis. My name is what? Lockhart.
What?
All that shit, nigga. But yeah. If the nigga's name is Notorious B1, they said, oh, Biggie's name, he changed it. The name Biggie Smalls comes from a movie, right? It's a character in the movie. It was a pimp, I believe. And Biggie name was the Notorious Big. 2 years before the Notorious B1 came out, Biggie was in Unsigned Hype, and his name was the Notorious Big. When he got signed to Bad Boy, he thought Biggie Smalls sounded fresher, so he went with Biggie Smalls. And then he got sued by the people who made the movie, so he dropped the name and went back to Notorious Big. How did you get that from Notorious B? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hold on. Let me say it again so I can get a short. All right? The Notorious B.I.G. got his name from a movie. He got signed to Bad Boy and changed his name to Biggie Smalls. He was in the source called Unsigned Hype article, and he was originally titled The Notorious B.I.G. 2 years before The Notorious B came out. Then when he got signed to Bad Boy, he changed his name back. It was simply a coincidence. Or you trying to tell me that The Notorious B1 stole his name from the Unsigned Hype article? Yeah. So everything that came out first, especially back then, and this is what I'm trying to say, we're viewing things through the lens of the way we see things now. The internet has connected the whole world in such a way that information travels like that, right? Yeah. But in the 1990s, I don't know who the fuck you are, Notorious B1. There's mad rappers that had mixtapes out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody ever heard of you, my nigga.
Bruh.
You was selling music out the trunk of your car and you touched 20 people, nigga. Then you want to get on the internet and be like, see, I had your shit first. Fuck out of here, nigga. It's not how it works. 1,000 people sample the same song, nigga. You know what I mean? People took the drums off a James Brown song, my nigga. You gonna say one artist stole it from another? They all taking it from the same source. Prince hated sampling because he said one day people are going to be sampling the sampled songs, which is what they're doing now. He called it, and I fucking hate them songs. Late stage capitalism, nigga. So I say all this to say, leave my man Biggie Smalls alone, my nigga. He wasn't around to put the baby oil on niggas. He was trying to get away from Puff just like Mace did, but he got killed before he could get out. Greatest rapper, he was like, what did Cannabis say? You could talk all that good talk, right? But the greatest rapper alive, he died on March 9th. Yeah, rest in peace, Big.
And Cannabis' career.
Cause of him, at least I know what beef is. And that's real. Beanie Siegel, one of my favorite rappers, Jay-Z, The Lox, everybody's on Jadakiss, which is also a fucking history change. He was never considered top 5 back in the day, but whatever. It was never considered top 5.
We'll have this argument.
Back in we could do this later. We could do this later. It's a whole nother subject. But they consider Big the best. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that's choosing Big over Pac. And I think that voice is getting suppressed because it's just a lot of Pac dick riders, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And shout outs to Pac. Like, a lot of good music. His way he made music is far reaching and is very influential. I get it. He's one of the GOATs too. But that don't mean you gotta downplay Biggie all of a sudden. You know what I mean?